And now's the time when things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there. And we've got to lead it.
True international depression.
You are fake news.
I am not suicidal.
We'll circle back with you directly. I can circle back. I'll circle back with you.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Hello and welcome to episode 287 of the Jeffrey and Brian Show. I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Brian.
Oh, there's two guys drinking some beers, talking about what's going on. Busy week we've had here, Brian.
Yeah. I mean, as long as Trump is president, I expect it to be a busy week every week.
Yeah.
He likes to stay in the news, and he likes to, people say something about him in the news. He's not afraid to rebuttal back. So we'll get into that more lately.
Yes, and he's one of the biggest trolls out there, which goes right along with what you just said. Of course, right after we hit record, Guapo shows up.
Of course he does.
So the super mayor back in the news, she's been brought into court to discuss basically her financial fraud and waste and abuse. But check this out. She tried to do like a Skype meeting with the judge for her court date.
Oh, was she wearing her face mask when she showed up too?
I don't know. Honestly, I didn't see the video. But she's just begging to go to jail, isn't she?
Yeah. She thinks it's still COVID.
Yeah, and I mean, remember, she was using the police force as her own private security squad. She kept guys on for like all but 3 hours in a month and paid them. It was kind of insane. Not sure what's going to happen because, I mean, she is a black Democrat in Illinois. So it's going to be tough to get a jury to put her in prison, but her own constituents hated that woman. And that was a predominantly black area and Democrat too. So we can see how that plays out. What's up, Guapo?
Not too much, guy. How's it going?
Going well. Just getting started. Talking about your favorite super mayor.
Tiffany Hanger?
Yeah, yep.
Super
We
mayor.
waited 10 minutes. We waited 10 minutes for you to start the show. Like, maybe you took a shower instead of just a giant dump. And
Yeah,
as soon as we get first topic of
it was a
follow-up.
He's not afraid to admit it.
No, I'm a guy.
Everybody poops, man. I read a book about it once, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Have you read the LGBTQ friendly one?
Uh-oh.
Push that shit back in.
It is Pride Month, so we got to come up with all our Pride stuff.
Yeah, Pride is like a nothing issue this year. You notice that?
Yeah, nobody cares.
Like Walmart, Target, and a whole bunch of other big retailers that were doing like a hardcore into this are pushing Father's Day more instead of Pride. So
we covering that now?
It's in there, but I think it's in leftovers. But it became clear this wasn't helping business. So why would you continue to do it as a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, for real, who wants to explain to their 7-year-old what a tuck-friendly bathing suit is?
I don't even know what it is, and I'm a lot older.
Well, that's when you tuck your junk down between your ass cheeks so you look like a woman.
That doesn't sound very comfortable.
I know, but ask RuPaul. He'll tell you all about how it works. But RuPaul doesn't actually claim to be a woman, though, either, right?
No.
All right. Okay, so what was this 13-year-old kid's name that the Secret Service did like an honorary thing for at Trump's inauguration?
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah. The kid with brain cancer.
Devarian DJ Theotis.
Yeah.
His father just revealed that he has 3 new tumors.
Jeez Louise, man.
Brain tumors. He already had an incurable brain cancer. So now they found 2 more terminals. Yeah.
And just remember that the Democrats wouldn't show this kid any respect when he showed up.
No.
And again, this is why a lot of people think I'm Republican. I talk shit about Democrats for this stuff. I'm like, what the?
Back in the day, you used to talk as much shit about the Republicans as you did the Democrats. So
Yeah,
You
but
just
the
had to
Dems are
listen to the
just
show 20 years ago to hear it. So
Jesus Christ. We've been doing this forever, haven't we?
it's not quite that long, but it's a lot longer. I would say 2009, 2010.
I bet it was further back than that, but I honestly don't know because I was still living in Hampton,
Right, right.
and I
When
moved to
you
Newport News since then Massachusetts, and then West Virginia.
okay. Yeah, you
Yeah, it's
moved
been a
all
long time.
around, so
Yeah, Sean was still in the service.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because
actually,
he
he got
used to
out
come on
recently
the
though.
show back in the day when he thought it was a cool thing to do. Now he says we're
Which is
garbage.
we are garbage.
It's a dumpster
Okay,
fire.
yeah. I meant to
You didn't
bring
say
this
it the
up.
right way though.
Dumpster fire.
Garbage,
You got to get that beer accent going, man.
beer accent.
Garbage.
No, it's garbage. It's all garbage. But anyway, I meant to bring this up last week. The Nashville shooter. Remember the trans shooter, the Nashville
Yeah.
Christian school?
The one that the manifesto didn't come out until just recently because it didn't fit
Yeah,
the narrative.
exactly. 100 pages came out and specifically said this person was targeting Christians and
Yep.
said, "I'm going to kill all your kids."
Because they suspected that there wouldn't be other weapons at a Christian school. They didn't expect the Christians to be armed, so they thought they'd have a better chance of war damage.
And remember this. Remember Christian when it comes to today, because we have a couple stories to talk about Christianity. But not even about Christianity, but they come up in the topics. Uh-oh. Brian's getting it from the wife.
Oh.
Yeah. What else is new? She's gonna yell at him because he's not plumbing the water into his refrigerator or something. Okay, we
No, she
brought this up.
said something to the printer in color and she wanted it in black and white, so she's trying to save me some ink. So
Well, if it's already printed, what's the difference?
I got it before it all printed, so
All right.
there's only a section that got printed. So
Okay.
anyway, back to the show.
Yeah, we talked about the King of the Hill actor, Jonathan Joss last
Yeah,
week. How
is
he
he in
died.
the reboot?
That's what I was wondering. Is John Redcorn going to be in the reboot or not? Because this guy was John Redcorn, the native that was
That's not
banging.
politically correct. That's part of DEI now, so I don't think they can have a Native American in the 7-Eleven.
That's in here too, actually, about in New York. But yeah, he was shot to death.
By his neighbor.
Now, was he shot or was he collateral damage?
I don't, but they've arrested his neighbor, and they found him like the next day or the day after he actually was shot. So it's insane. That's why I don't talk to my neighbors because I don't want to get shot by them.
Well, where you live, yeah. But thing is, my neighbors, I say neighbors, people live near me are more likely to have guns.
Yeah.
But they're also less likely to shoot me for knocking on their door,
Right.
Because I've been to your house, I've been in your area, dude. It's not the roughest part of Virginia,
No,
but it ain't the
not.
nicest.
No, it's neither. But
For real, you drive about 5 miles and cross them train tracks across Martin Luther King Boulevard, and it gets nasty, doesn't it?
yep.
You know exactly where I'm talking. Down by the shipyard.
Yeah. Portsmouth.
Yeah. Well, Portsmouth's nasty too. I was thinking over by the Northrop Grumman shipyard. That is a nasty.
Newport News. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nasty area. Well, you're right. Portsmouth is real nasty. All right. So it's been a while since we've brought up the possible serial killer in Massachusetts.
I know, but it popped back up in my news feed today, so I had to share it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we're on this. This is the 13th body that's been unexplained in the New England area around Massachusetts since March.
That's insane.
But the authorities still say it's not a serial killer, which I'm like, okay.
How many bodies have to die in the Northeast before they call it a serial killer?
Realistically, they're probably saying they're not the 3 or more is technically a serial killer, but
they're not tying them together right now. They're saying it's not.
The MO is the same.
Exactly. Generally, serial killers use the same MO. This person was 21, Adriana Suazo. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Suazo. Her body was found in a wooded area of Milton, Massachusetts. Milton was not that far from where I was and where I grew up. Actually, I used to compete against Milton in high school sports. And yeah, she's a Boston resident and found in Milton. Geez, Louise, like exactly how many people have to? I don't know, man. I'm telling, as I bring up all the time, I got out of there just in time. Like, shit's going wrong out there.
Is it like old chicks or?
This person was 21.
No, but the people they were like, what type of people were you killing? Like blondies, chicks, guys, it doesn't matter.
I think that's what they're saying is that there's no common thing tying all these murders together. But that doesn't necessarily
feel the same way, you know, like a stab it from behind, stab it from.
Yeah, are you cutting all their throats? Are you hanging them all? Are you cutting their toes all? But just because you don't do them all the same way doesn't mean you're not. It's not a serial killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that either way, that's okay. So what's worse? One person who killed 13 people, or 13 separate killers on the loose.
Yeah. I mean, somehow they had to dude. Okay, people get killed every day, everywhere, but it's so it's such a small area. I mean, perimeter wise, and the same murder, the same type of killing, you know. So probably that's how they're tying it together.
Well, exactly. They say New England, and people think of like the entire New England area, which is still smaller than most states. Unless you're, well, once you count Maine, it's a little different. But this is all the South Shore of Massachusetts, northern Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Like this is a small area.
Right.
Geez Louise, man, this is a little more than a little terrifying. And I know it's almost impossible to get a firearm up there, but I'm gonna tell my buddies that live up in Massachusetts, buy a fucking gun, dude. Just be responsible. And if you have a felony, you're not allowed to get one. So don't go and do something stupid and illegal. All right. All right, Brian, we've had this debate more than once on this show.
Yeah.
The toilet paper debate.
That's why I put it on
there. Why does it pop out?
Under or over? How do you put your toilet paper on your roll? I know you're not a big toilet paper fan, Ray, but I know you still
use it.
Reverence. Yeah. Is it over or under?
To dry.
He's from Central America. They use their bare hands, don't they?
He's got a bidet.
I got a bidet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how do you dry your ass off after a bidet?
With
toilet paper.
So what the fuck's the point of the bidet?
He uses a lot less toilet paper. It gets the majority of the
shit gets taken down by the bidet.
Yeah, see, I have dairy, lactose issues, and the bidet just not gonna cut it.
You need a full blown shower.
Yeah,
with an unhookable nozzle you can shove up there.
Yeah, exactly. I've done that before after eating too much cheese. Like, oh no! Oh God, no! But
I love Taco Bell, but Taco Bell don't love me.
We've had this debate, and I said over the front.
The beard.
Most men, it says in the article, are over, and most women are under.
Well, I believe last time we talked about this, I brought up the fucking patent where they designed the toilet paper holder, and the patent shows it as over the front.
Okay.
You made it a point of saying I have cats, and at least if the cats spin it, it won't just undo all my TP.
But they've gotten bored with it now. They moved on to other things in the house. They'd rather lay around and relax now than play with the toilet paper. I got one laying next to me on the desk here on the show. So
I will say that they brought up that there's a sanitary issue involved in the over the front instead of under the back technique, because your fingers don't touch the wall when you reach to get a piece. You grab the piece that's already hanging down.
Right.
I was like, all right, now maybe that's a little less of an issue in your own home, but in a public restroom, that could really be an issue, right?
Yeah, you don't know what's behind your wall.
Yeah, you don't know. Well, yeah, exactly. For all you know, someone wiped their ass with their bare hand and swiped it all over the wall.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And trust me, you cannot wash your hands enough when you put your hand in someone else's turd, right?
Yeah.
I've never done that before, so I wouldn't know.
Okay, well, you can imagine.
I guess you're gonna catch a diaper.
Yeah.
I don't have kids.
Not even that. I'm thinking,
Not
oh,
even.
you've been in a public bathroom. They're fucking nasty, dude. People are disgusting. Especially when you get like the heroin addicts passing out in like a 7-Eleven bathroom and you're on your way home going, I gotta pee or I gotta dump right now, you know?
Yeah.
All right, Brian, I'm sure you know all about this, even though you don't follow X or actually you're on Truth,
Well,
aren't you?
how could I mean, I can't believe there's only one article about this in here that I shared, and I didn't share it until late in the week
I was going
because
to avoid
early
it.
on in the week I didn't care about this shit.
I was going to
I
avoid it, but exactly, it became such a damn issue. It was all anyone talked about
yeah.
yesterday. But tell me what's going on.
And they said I mean I have to agree on the Noah. This is about the big fight between Elon Musk and President Trump.
Now, Republicans, I will say, this is the problem you have when you have two daddies. Okay.
Daddy's that gonna fight.
I don't even know if this fight's for real. I think this is all like I don't. I think it's just a make. I mean, somebody's like, I had one of my buddies tell me today. He's like, "Oh, you haven't." I went to Twitter and saw Elon Musk's Twitter feed. I mean, No Agenda Show thinks this might be
Setup.
a setup between the
A
two of them.
conspiracy, if you will.
Yeah, a conspiracy. And then, I mean, if it's not, then this is going to force Trump to release the Epstein files that he promised to do, 10 months ago.
Well, that's because Elon said that Trump was on the files, and that's why they haven't been released. And I thought the same thing you did, Brian. I was like, this is a giant scam. For one, this is how Elon falls and Trump have a bad whatever falling out because Elon was only allowed to hold this job for so
For
many
130 days.
and that time is up. So everyone started blowing up Teslas and hating Musk. So now all of a sudden he's fighting Trump. Is it okay to buy a Tesla now?
Yes, that's exactly where I'm going with this. I do think that there's going to be less defacing and destruction of Teslas, and and then they're like, oh well, Trump's going to cancel all of SpaceX's NASA contracts. He
No, he
can't really
won't.
do that if he wants to keep people going to the space station.
Well, here's the funny thing: is Elon Musk was the one who threatened to shut it down, and then he came back and was like, "Okay, I won't do that." And I was like, "What? How are you going to get our astronauts back from space? Because we know NASA
We're not going
can't
back
do
to
it.
Russia to do it because
They're
we're
not going
barely
back."
communicating with Russia on the space station situation now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Russia
So
said they're
if
not
we
going
had to
back,
rely
right?
on Russia to do it again, how much do you think they charge us now? They were charging us like $1 million a space flight before. What do you
They
think
would
the
say
price would
something.
be now?
It would be stop giving money to Ukraine. I
Well,
think that would be the
I think
price.
Trump would agree to that. So
Yeah, and let the people, let the far lefties blow up all that, right?
yeah,
But yeah,
Trump's
I
been
think this.
trying to stop giving money to Ukraine since he became president again. He
Yeah, we
every time you hear him talk about Ukraine, it's like, this isn't my war. This isn't my war. This isn't my
yeah,
war.
we're gonna get into that. Don't worry. But yeah, I think exactly, Brian. I'm with you, and I've listened to a lot of middle of the road people and right wing people. We all know the left wing says like, "Oh, it's fun to watch them fight," and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are saying, this looks like it might be a way to save Musk's name, and you know what I mean, and still keep the work that he
Mhm.
did intact, even though they're trying to drug test him now because
Apparently he likes ketamine.
oh, yeah, okay, sure, Jesus Christ. It was fun to watch for a little while, then it just got boring because I mean, they're both um they both love themselves and they both love to talk trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know where it's gonna go, but when Musk came out and said that Trump was on the Epstein files and that's why they didn't release him,
Uh-huh.
I think this was specifically to get all the Democrats to demand these files this
And then
documents get
Trump's gonna
released.
go ahead and release them.
Yes, and you know what? I can't wait for that Saudi prince to show up, his name on the list, and Bill Clinton and everyone else, because we all know Trump rode on the Lolita Express.
Yeah.
He was on the flight manifest, but there was no evidence he was any kind. He even went to Epstein Island, and actually, what's her name? Guthrie. The woman, the girl just died. The woman who died that was 17 on Epstein Island.
Oh yeah.
She
Yeah.
came out years ago and said Trump never flirted with us. He never slept with any of these girls. He never did any of that. He was just polite on the plane. So,
Well,
this
wasn't Bill
might,
Gates on the plane too?
yes, exactly. Exactly my point is like, go ahead and drop all of this up. And you know what? If Trump was banging kids, put him in prison. I am fine with that, honestly. Not everyone's going to agree with me on that one, but I don't care who you are. If you're paying someone to bang children, you should be in prison. Not just
Yeah.
that, you should be executed and buried beneath the prison.
Right.
I mean, I think if he was on that pedophile list, they would have leak it out somehow, you know.
Exactly. If he was on the list, the Democrats would have released this immediately, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Just to get him out of office.
They would have leaked it up before he got in office. They would have leaked
No,
it up
that's
when
what
he
I said.
couldn't
Like,
run.
yeah, before he even got in office. You know?
Mm-hmm. All right, you guys both know who Bono is, right?
Yeah,
you too. We talked about you two on I think last episode.
Did we? When he said USAID cuts killed 300,000
No,
people?
not that. We talked about how U2 has one or two good songs, and that's about it.
Oh, okay. Well, now he's claiming that the USAID cuts killed 300,000 people already. Oh, you can go into the details if you want, but Joe Rogan
said raise the bullshit flag on it.
Yeah, well, he pulled a number out of his ass. Like he seriously did. He's like, oh, it must have been this many. It's like, what the fuck, dude? It's like, well, we stopped transing shrimp. Okay, that was what got cut out of this stuff. And for every
and a few overseas programs, got shut down, but most of them been turned back on thanks to the court system right now.
Well, exactly. Like, oh, we need to give these guys resources. Like, it's not. They call it USAID because that's the acronym, but it's not aid to foreign nations necessarily. Well, I mean,
They've changed the acronym now.
Well, we were given $20 million a year to make Sesame Street in Iran. It doesn't cost
that's
$20
where
million.
People want to watch Sesame Street.
They can buy it, pay for it. If it's the man,
have someone translate our Sesame Street and send it over there.
That's not gonna fly.
No, that'd be a couple $1,000 to pay someone a couple months to do this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Musk and Rogan like bullshit, and he, again, these people don't give a fuck. They just want to make things sound as extreme as they can. They have no idea what they're talking about, just like Bruce Springsteen. And now he was doing a tour with a bunch of country artists, and they're like, "Fuck off, dude! You're just making stuff up to say how much you hate Trump."
And he lost his, and we talked about on the show before, he lost his contract with Jeep, which is like millions of dollars a year.
Yeah, I didn't know he was working with Jeep, honestly. But, I don't get a whole lot of mainstream commercials these days because I don't do cable,
Yeah.
All right. While we're still talking about Elon Musk somehow, I didn't even do that on purpose. Remember when he said, "My heart goes out to you," and everyone said it was a Nazi salute?
Yeah. Somebody else said it recently.
Well, they said no matter what, even if that's not what you meant, it's obvious. Everyone knows this. That means you're a Nazi, period. And now Cory Booker did the same thing. And all the Democrats are like, well, this is different because it's like, no. You said there's no excuse. It's never acceptable. That might be our thumbnail, by the way.
It's never acceptable.
Cory Booker, the thumbnail, the picture, might be a picture of Cory Booker with his arm out like he's a fucking Roman soldier.
Let me try to find a picture of it.
It's in the article.
Oh, okay, so.
Yeah, here's the best part. There's two pictures in the article. One of them with his hand on his chest, and the next picture was with it raised straight out like he's a freaking Nazi.
But nobody's talking about that.
Of course they're not
when,
going to.
When Elon Musk did it.
It blows a hole in their narrative. And Guapo's over there fucking couch fishing like he's Beavis and Butthead.
I know. Don't be jealous. Hey, my fishing day got canceled, so I got to put my lures back in place.
What fishing day?
I'll talk to you guys about it later.
So China, okay, you've heard of the Terracotta Army, right?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes they bring it out to some museums.
Yeah, and there's like 1,000 soldiers made of terracotta in this tomb.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's different, all the soldiers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some tourist jumped down the 18-foot embankment to get into this excavated ancient 2,200-year-old relic and destroyed two of these statues.
Oh, he's
There's
gone.
nothing's gonna happen to him.
He's dead.
It's in China, dude. So I don't know. They might actually execute the motherfucker.
No, that would be too much easy, dude. They had to make an example out of him.
Yeah, executing him would be making an example out of him.
You're gonna make it work for that shit for years until his dad. Dude.
You can't pay back. You can't pay this back, dude. It's not like they can just rebuild it or repair it. You know what I mean?
No, but fucking labor, dude.
I guess just like the crazy jackass kids a couple of years ago that carved their names in one of the pyramids in Giza,
Oh my god.
or the climate activists that spray painted Stonehenge.
Oh, they want to
You talk-
fucking. Oh, the fucking old ladies. They want to fucking destroy the fucking Magna Carta.
Oh my God, I didn't hear about that. Oh, let me guess, that was climate activists too.
Yeah, the old ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, like you bitch. This is the whole reason you got fucking rights. If you don't
Yeah,
know,
exactly. This is why you didn't get shot in the face for this. Magna
my-
Carta was eye for an eye, right?
No, the Magna Carta is established. The king is no longer one sole rule, so they have to be the. That's where the lords start getting power.
Yeah, I'm trying to
And
remember
that's
which
what
one was it.
established. Huh?
I'm trying to remember the one that was older than that. That was the
was
first
the Mag-
quote. Yeah.
It
Anyway,
was the first constitution to give the lords more rights. Just the king was in charge the entire time.
yeah,
King
yeah.
John.
Your property is not the king's property.
Yeah.
You actually own this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a mayor here in West Virginia resigned with no warning. Just
Why?
boom, I'm done. I couldn't find why.
I guess he was
you-
tired. I'm like, fuck this place.
Yeah, McMecken is the city.
Mm.
David Goddard was the mayor. He resigned, but no notice,
Mhm.
and there was an emergency city council meeting to put someone in that office. They're gonna have a regular vote coming up
They don't
soon.
have a vice mayor or deputy mayor or anything. They could be
Lieutenant
like
mayor.
take the job while
I couldn't
Well,
find
it happens.
anything.
Well, the
couldn't find
mayor is
anything like
just a
that.
glorified city council, basically, in a way.
In some cities, we got you got city managers, but then other cities they're the ones that run the city.
It's the executive.
It
Yeah.
depends
You
how big it is, too. The city.
Yeah. Which I was just surprised it didn't give a reason why he resigned. I don't know if it was health issues or if he was going to get in trouble
Ah.
or something.
I guess it probably helped reason just they wanted to close it to the public.
And once again, here in West Virginia, the people are asking publicly if there are mountain lions in the mountains out here. Because we keep being told there's no mountain lions that live in West Virginia. Occasionally one will pass through. I'm like, it's
Okay.
kind of a big state for a cat just to like walk
Meow.
across it. Yeah. I swear I saw one right after I moved in here.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure it wasn't a bobcat because it was taller than a bobcat and it didn't have a short itty bitty tail.
Have you ever seen these people like, hey, I came across with a kitty and stuff? It turned out to be a bobcat.
Oh, well, bobcats are big cats, but they're
I
not mountain
No, but they're
lion
like the
big.
baby ones, the baby bobcat. They look
Oh
like
yeah,
a regular
oh yeah.
cat.
Daughter brings home a kitten and it's a bobcat. Oh,
Yeah, it's a little aggressive, isn't he? Like, yeah. It's like, actually,
wonder
that's what
why.
happened. They're like, why is the cat so aggressive? It's a bobcat.
oh yeah, this is becoming a hot button issue around here. A lot of people saying, "I swear to God, I saw one."
Mm,
But the issue is, it's tough to take a picture of them because they're in the dark.
no.
Okay.
You know
You
what
don't
I
have
mean?
night vision?
Well, that doesn't help your camera. And you go ahead and pull out your camera, and get your camera on your phone ready while there's a fucking 80-pound, 90-pound cat hunting you. You know what I mean? Because I tell you, when I was certain I saw the mountain lion, I got back in the house immediately. I was like, nope, I am done for the night. I am done working. But what's going on in Virginia out east?
We got a man arrested after barricading himself when Hampton Police Department tried to serve him a warrant.
Did he? Okay, so he got arrested.
Yeah, he did get arrested. He
Well-
barricaded himself for hours.
How long? How do you honestly expect it to end by barricading yourself in a home?
And
Like,
I
you think
mean,
they're screwed?
the police had to take it more seriously because his charges were possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, aggravated malicious wounding and use of a firearm in the commission of felony, discharging a firearm in public, and the reckless handling of a firearm.
Did they tear gas him? Did they flashbang him, or
No,
did
no,
he
they said
surrender?
eventually it happened without incident after a couple hours. But he's accused of
Yeah, now resisting arrest on top of
shooting
that.
somebody back in May.
Yeah, how do you expect it to end? Like, where are you gonna go? Unless you have a secret tunnel out your basement, you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
You don't even have basements in Virginia because they'll be swimming pools rather than a basement.
Well, in Hampton, yeah. If you move inland, obviously it's a little different.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in a basement right now, but I'm also on a mountaintop in West Virginia. So I don't, it's funny I say that. I would say I don't have to worry about flooding, but I actually have water on the floor in here. But that's because I changed the water filter a couple days ago, and
Uh-huh.
having it back down, I didn't tighten the cylinder up enough, and it was dripping slowly for like 3
Okay.
days.
That's not good.
No, it's not. I drained out my second dehumidifier and turned it on.
Yeah.
And you have another topic here,
Yep.
and another one in Hampton. Why is Hampton becoming so much more violent than it used to be?
You asked for more local, so I gave you more local.
I didn't necessarily say that. I said you only have the one, but I've noticed a trend recently that Hampton is becoming as
I'm
in the
just not
news
sharing
as
Norfolk
Newport News
articles. There's plenty of them.
or
Shit
Newport
happens in
News
Norfolk all the time. This is
and Virginia Beach.
two teens that were arrested after a student was robbed on his way to a bus stop.
All right,
So this is two teens robbing another student. So
in Hampton. What
in
did it
Hampton,
say? Did it say what school we went to? Was it high school or?
Bethel High.
Oh my God,
You know where that's at?
I do, and I don't know, man. What is a high school student have that you need to steal from him?
Money.
What, $50 maybe?
Well, that's what the kids were looking for was money. So there weren't.
Unless the kid's dealing drugs or something. Who carries around a
They
wad of
both,
cash
but
on him?
the suspects implied they had a weapon and demanded property from the victim. So maybe they wanted his cell phone, maybe they wanted his shoes. Who knows?
All right. And these kids just
People
ruined.
are. I mean, the younger generation just don't. They. I don't understand them anymore. I
These
guess I'm
kids,
getting old.
these two just ruined their lives.
No, they're minors. They probably won't be tried as adults, and because nobody died, and their things can be expunged in like 2 years.
Armed robbery, though, that's something that might not necessarily, you might get charged an adult for that, depending.
Yeah,
And you can say it doesn't say armed robbery, but if they claim to have a weapon, that's
they
armed
did. So
robbery.
it'll be armed robbery. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Exactly. And you don't actually have to have the weapon on you. You just have to. The victim just has to think you do,
That's
believe
exactly
you
what
do.
the article says. He
There
thought
you
it
go.
was implied that he had a weapon. So they had weapons. So yeah.
Jeez Louise, man. Yeah, and this. I don't know. I just know my parents would have kicked my ass for something
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Well, we're a different generation.
Like I remember I called my mom a bitch once when I was 17.
Oh.
Oh, huge mistake.
Mhm.
My father fought me like 1920 style boxing out in the backyard. He's like, "Put up your dukes." I'm like, "I'm a kid. I got no dukes."
Mhm. I think we
All
need to
right.
bring it back.
Yeah, bring back corporal punishment, right?
Of course.
I
Oh,
say that,
I'm in the beginning of Generation X. Okay.
yeah, I'm at the beginning of millennial.
Generation X was from 1965 to 1980. So I'm the only Gen X on this show, bitches.
I was born in '82. I'm known as a geriatric millennial because I'm 42, dude. I'm gonna be 43 this year, and
I
I
don't want
still
to
hear
talk
people.
about it.
Well, I still hear people talking about
I
millennial.
can
I go,
get the senior discount at Denny's, and I have.
mm. Remember, I was
What
working at
before you turn 65, they're gonna raise it to 75.
yeah. Well, is it 55 AARP?
I think you
50,
can.
you can join
military ID.
ARP if you really want to. I refuse
Yeah.
to. So,
Why do you refuse? It's a discount, dude.
because they spend a lot of my dues, or if I put dues in, they spend it on very liberal
Oh, I didn't
liberal stuff.
realize you had to pay a subscription fee. That and you probably can't use more than one discount when you go somewhere, and your retired ID is good enough for a discount in most places you go, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Or military ID.
Yeah, but he doesn't have an active duty military ID.
You could get
He
a
has a
military like
I
state
got a
military
military
ID.
ID.
Yeah, well,
Military
yeah, but it says retired
veterans
on it,
ID.
right?
Yeah.
The wife has one too. It doesn't say
Yeah.
active duty; it says retired,
Yeah. It's dependent.
which just drives me nuts, man. You know, shit just goes wrong sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I got out of the service because I had the more physically demanding job,
Yeah.
and I dealt with a seizure. So I was like, all right, babe, you stay in, you keep the steady military paycheck going, and then she gets medically retired
Because of a car
early.
accident.
Yeah, and I was like, shit. And the thing is, she was an E5 when I met her, and I was an E3.
Right.
When I got out, she was an E5 and I was an E5.
Yeah.
I was moving up the chain quicker, and that's nothing against her. The Air Force advance is different. They say
Yeah,
we have
definitely.
we have this many spots for the next pay grade, versus the Navy said this job
Depends-
has this many spots in the next pay
depends on
grade.
the job. Too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
broken down
I
by
was
job. Yeah.
yeah, I was only competing against other hull maintenance technicians, you know,
Yeah.
and not picking on my fellow HTs, but it's the lowest ASVAB score you need to have to get in the Navy. And my
Was
ASVAB
that son
score,
of bosun's mate?
yes,
No, I think it was some.
oh, it might have been the same. Might have been the same. It's a 35.
Okay.
I scored a 93 on the ASVAB. I was offered nuclear technician.
And you declined it.
Well,
But
yeah,
at the
my
same time,
recruit-
doesn't mean it's a glorious job. It's not. you
no.
I
I
was
paid
just
my
drinking
dues.
at the VFW night with a ET nuke
hmm
E7 chief tonight.
Yeah, but
He's
when
younger than he's only been in 12 years. So that's how
Well, you probably
fast they're
never-
advancing in the nuke field.
yeah.
Well, yeah, there's few guys to compete against in the nuclear field too. Like,
Yeah.
it's only
Yeah.
nuclear
Well,
ships, right?
Yeah, but the nuclear ship, you rather as an E3, E3s and as a nuke, you just like an airman. I mean, a E3, E4. I mean,
Well, this guy's a chief, so and
Oh,
he's
yeah,
not
it's
even. And he was like the most people friendly nuke I'd come across in probably my whole time in the Navy, and then
I
some.
was just gonna say that because I didn't like the nukes.
He was
Uh,
drinking up a storm at the VFW, talking to me left and right. It was a great conversation. So yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely a unique type of nuke.
Yeah, the nukes used to call me up in my shop. They're like, "Hey, we need a weld repair done down like reactor 2." I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give you guys priority. It is propulsion on a nuclear ship. We're gonna,
Yeah, we need it.
I was like, I'll be down there in like 2 hours. I'm gonna finish the job I'm doing, and I'll be down. And I would show up, and I would get turned away at the door. Like, oh no, secret
We're not
clearance.
ready for you yet.
Well, yeah, and I was like, the secret clearance. I was like, I have top secret clearance. Like, you're a hull tech. I was like, yeah, I have top secret clearance because
I weld. I've got the ability to weld in nuclear reactors.
yeah,
Basically.
so I can go literally anywhere on this ship to do my work. And it happened so many times that when they would call me for help, I'd be like, if you guys turn me away, you're not staying at the top of the list. I'm not going to wait 2 hours for it to go up to your chief and come back down. I'm going to say, fuck you guys. I'll be back in 3 days. And they would still send me away.
Yeah.
I'd be like, call me when you guys are ready for me. I would just
Yeah,
go.
You should just walk around with a copy of your top secret clearance in your pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, I remember one time the chief actually came to answer when I, requested permission to answer. And he's like, I know they keep turning you away. Come on in. I was like, all right, thanks, chief. I don't know if everyone understands how heavy it is to bring a welding setup on your shoulders when you bring in an argon bottle with you to do gas shielded arc welding or,
And
TIG
you're not,
welding.
and the nuclear reactors are not on the main level of the aircraft carrier.
No, and neither was my shop. So I had to go up ladders,
Yep, and down
across, then back
and
down,
down, yeah,
ladders.
yeah.
And then
That's
they
the first
go
I got,
back,
like-
I'd go back. Oh,
I'm surprised I got a dumb waiters and stuff. That would be kind of neat.
They do.
yeah. I've used the aircraft elevators before to move gear.
Yeah. No, but
Anyway.
kind of the ship, like dumb waiters, like at least for like 500 pounds.
It
No,
takes up
they
space. It
have
takes up space.
there's weapons elevators, you know, and there are elevators all around the aircraft carrier, depending
Not for
on.
personnel though.
Yeah.
No, but for equipment.
Yeah, exactly. I've used aircraft elevators. I asked weapons once to use a weapon elevator. Like, oh no, dude, we're not even gonna deal with that. You know?
Yeah, I
Like,
can see weapons a little bit. Yeah, no, especially gases.
yeah, but they're like, what happens if that bottle? What I was like, dude, you lift bombs up in this thing.
Well,
Right.
no, that's the thing. Like, what if the bottle falls and detonates all the fucking bombs? You know, the
There
gas.
aren't going to be bombs on the elevator at the same time the tank of gas is.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the boulders of immigration we have going on here.
Mm.
I'm sure everybody who's listening to this show heard about the attack in Boulder, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the guy, what he had like 12 or something Molotov cocktails and a homemade flamethrower.
You only use one.
I thought he threw two. Maybe it was only
It
one.
was two. It might two or one. It wasn't like all of them he had on him. So
Well, he lit himself on fire too. Did you see the video?
no.
Because this has
Yeah.
happened more than once when the lefties try to throw Molotov cocktails. They don't know what they're doing and they light themselves on fire. He yelled "Free Palestine" when he chucked these Molotov cocktails into a crowd of praying elderly people.
I don't know what people expect by doing. They're
It's not helping your cause.
no, not at all. It's turning more people away from it than helping.
Well, it turns out this guy is an Egyptian national who overstayed his visa.
Okay.
First thing I saw was he was being charged with murder, and I was like, "Oh, he's fucked. Like,
And
he's
a hate
fucked."
crime.
Yeah, but then saying no one died, he's not being charged with murder. I was like, okay, well, thank God no one died, but people did get third-degree burns. But yeah, these are elder. I think the youngest was in their mid-50s, and they were just praying for the hostages Hamas took on October 7th to be released. But he said he wanted to kill the Zionist people, all the Zionist people.
He's going to need more Molotov cocktails.
Yeah, and well, we'll get to that in a minute. CNN came out and said Cash Patel, the director of the FBI, was a juvenile for describing this guy as a terrorist. Like, what? He attacked a group of people, civilians,
Yeah.
to put out a political agenda. That's the definition of terrorism. And that lets you know how far these companies will go to say how much they hate Israel. And as I've said, I'm not a huge fan of how far Israel has gone with what they're doing. But
I'm not either at this point, but I
that's not
understand
our
why
fight
they're
either.
doing it, and it's not my fight. So
Exactly.
they're tired of the Palestinians and the Hamas all ganging up against them. They let them go away for 10, 20 years, and then they come back and attack them again. So I
That's the thing
understand
is,
the frustration with the problem, but
well, yeah, exactly. They keep coming to peace deals, and then they get attacked again. Then everyone's stupid, and you go, oh, they provoke. It's like, yeah, dude, killing people and taking hostages is different than I don't like your government. And here's the thing: is it's two separate states, right? Like Palestine has their own government, don't they?
yeah, but they're not. But they're not. They do. They're under PLO. Who?
Yeah,
But
Hamas, I believe.
PLO is pretty much Hamas. All the people in Palestine keep electing the
The
Hamas people
terrorists,
as leadership, you know, and then Hamas uses civilians as target as human shields.
yes. Who's showing up for our show tonight? Oh, Guapo's coming in again on a different user.
I guess so. Yep.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know what
why he keeps
happened to
doing
him.
this. Well, anyway, it turns out this guy overstayed his visa. So I don't know. Should we just deport him or should we put him in prison? Guapo.
That's not this. Fuck it.
Well, terrorism is a capital offense.
Well, he didn't kill nobody. No.
No one actually died from what I see, but
10 years.
it's still an
minimum.
act.
10 years minimum to deport his ass.
How much is it going to cost us to keep him in prison?
Shout out to El Salvador.
Well, we could send him back to Egypt, where he would be hailed as a hero.
Why? He's gonna be free. So how old is he? 40?
Something like that. He waited for his youngest. He planned this for over a year and waited for his youngest kid to get out of high school, knowing that something would happen.
Uh, I think 10 years. Fuck it, deport his family. And
Well, Trump actually went and arrested his whole family because they're here illegally too.
yeah,
And now
yeah.
a judge came out and has stopped him from doing it, deporting the family.
I think he should have
There
been
are-
deported. Be like, oops, sorry, too late. They're deported already.
Well, they're
Well,
arguing
it
like,
didn't
well,
happen yet, so it can't be too late.
well, they're arguing that, oh, well, the family didn't do it. It's like, yeah, but they're still here illegally.
So you know what Trump was doing? He was like taking the judges, all those illegal immigrants to New Orleans. So when a lot of federal judges want to snatch a legal immigrant, they have to go to the closest federal court. Well, the closest
Right.
to where they are is going to be in New Orleans at the time. So they're like, oops, here we go, which is going to be more favorable to Trump, But
So, well,
I think he need to establish like a fucking he got an embassy in El Salvador, put a judge over there. Like, oh, they're waiting on trial in El Salvador right now.
but why bother sending him to El Salvador instead of just sending him back to Egypt where he came from?
Well, because he's just gonna be free. Probably gonna plan something else later,
Yeah, and if he comes back again, then you can't carry out a sentence for his crime. And I want to point something out about this deportation that everyone's all offended about. Okay.
Mm.
Could you imagine someone breaks into your house, like eats the pizza in your fridge,
Mm-hmm.
calls your daughter a whore, right?
Yep.
What would you do?
His house out.
Well, check this out. The United States is like, all right, buddy, you've broken all the rules in my house that you broke into. Let me give you a ride home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how more polite can you be? This is like the most left-wing thing I can think of in terms of how to handle this. It's like, we'll give you a ride home. Don't worry, you won't go to prison. We won't execute you. We'll get you home. Fuck that. Some dude does that shit in my house. I'm gonna point my weapon at him and say, get the fuck out. And if I ever see you again, you're gonna catch one,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're bringing Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the United States to face charges for the trafficking of thousands of migrants.
So
Why?
all the Democrats, Democrat House representative people got their wish. We're going to bring him back for to properly deport him now.
All he's is the only thing that didn't happen. And well, okay, there was a mistake that he was sent to El Salvador, but a hearing is the only due process he was entitled to, because he already got 2 orders of deportation against him from judges. The only thing that was supposed to happen was, hey, by the way, El Salvador is no longer dangerous. We're going to send you back.
Right.
So what? We're going to bring him all the way back here to say, hey, by the way, we're allowed to send you. You go, okay, and then we're going to send him back? What the fuck?
Well, that'll shut up the Democrats if that's the case.
I
You think?
understand that argument, but at the
It
same
sounds like-
time,
Sounds like a
How
cute
much are we-
calculation.
well, no, everyone's all offended by all this money Trump is spending this big, beautiful bill. That's why Elon Musk lost his shit.
Mm.
And we're just going to spend more money for literal no change. He's going to get sent back, and he's going to get put back in the prison in El Salvador. This seems insane to me. Why don't we send down a representative to have this hearing with him in prison?
Oh, because he won't
well,
have the proper representative in El Salvador.
Oh my God.
Send a fucking public defense attorney with him. And again,
Sounds great in theory, but somebody will pitch a fit about it.
well, and this is the thing is everyone's like, he didn't get a trial. Due process means trial. First of all, no, it doesn't. It means the process due to you. Because have you ever had a speeding ticket, Brian?
Yes.
Did you ever fight a speeding ticket?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have a jury?
No.
Okay. Were you stripped of due process? Can you have this
No.
vacated because you didn't have a jury trial?
No.
No, because the process due to you was standing in front of a judge and pleading your case.
Yep.
A hearing.
Yep.
People are so fucking, and this is what's really pissing me off about the Republicans. They're like, no due process coming in, no due process going out. Motherfucker, it is due process. But people are so goddamn stupid. I mean, obviously not the fellas on this show because we actually pay attention to what's going on, but your average, I'm sure you see it all over Facebook. People saying no due process in, no due process out, right?
Yeah.
They don't know what they're talking about.
No.
All right. All right, Brian. Tell me how we're going to give health, not just health care, but dental care to these migrants now.
Oh my god.
Oh, well, this is New York City. Surprise, surprise. Councilwoman Gail Brewer is demanding free dental for migrants. Says she spent up to $10,000 of her own money taking care of this problem.
Bitch, why didn't you put that money in to help American citizens with dental care? Like most Americans I know don't have dental insurance. It's expensive.
I do, but it's expensive and doesn't cover a whole lot.
No, well, I mean, we have TRICARE, and
Not
we went
dental.
dental with it. Yeah, well, yeah, I think it is.
No, not. It's a separate insurance.
Okay, it was something else attached to the VA. Oh, okay, it's VA. That's what it is.
You could have dental through the VA, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I did have a tooth pulled recently, and I think I only paid like $20 out of pocket, but it was just a tooth pulling, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most Americans I know don't have dental insurance. It's just too expensive. And as often as you need to go to the dentist, like need to, they pay out of pocket, you know, until they get hit with a root canal and they go, oh shit, you know? But she wants to give these, and this California's giving them health care. Could you imagine being a California resident paying taxes with no health insurance, but your taxes are paying the health insurance of an illegal migrant? Or not even illegal migrant, literally anyone else, and you don't get it. Wouldn't that infuriate you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh my God. Like it's the same idea. It's like you have to walk to work because you can't afford a car, but your taxes are buying cars for other people. Like, that's insane. Absolutely insane. And actually, I just saw something on CNN recently when what's the Republican guy's name on that CNN panel that's always ripping everyone apart?
Scott Jenkins.
Jennings. He was talking about this and that, healthcare for illegals, actually. And one person said, everyone in the world should have healthcare. It's a right. It's like, first of all, it's not a fucking right. That's slavery. Because now you're making all these doctors, nurses, technicians, people building the equipment, maintaining the equipment, making the medication, et cetera, work for free. Or at least work for you while you don't pay for it. And second of all, she said the world. She wants us to pay everyone else's health insurance on the entire fucking planet. And then one of the other guys said,
we don't have the money for that. We may be rich Americans, but we ain't got that kind of cash.
And then the other guy on the panel said, check this out. He actually called them undocumented citizens.
What the fuck?
He used the word, and we knew this was coming, didn't we?
Yeah.
We knew. I'm pretty sure we talked about on this show how soon they'll be undocumented citizens. So why do these folks get more benefits from tax dollars than actual citizens paying these taxes? Anyway, representative in Vermont. Is this the one I think it is? I'm pretty sure it is. Oh yeah, she said. I think it's a she. Yeah, Becca Balance, whatever.
Yeah.
She said, we're not going to have anyone around to wipe our asses without more immigration.
What? I wipe my own ass.
Yeah, and I clean my own toilet, too.
I guess you don't got bidet.
But this is insane. Again, they want a slave class. Just like how many times have you heard them say, well, who's going to pick the crops? Motherfucker, you sound just like the slave owners back in the 1800s saying, who's going to pick our cotton? And,
the Democrats back here.
Yeah, Jasmine Crockett even said this. Go ahead, try to get a black man to pick cotton. So you get a light-skinned brown guy to do it instead? Bitch, we use fucking machines these days to pick cotton.
Yeah, Democrat come back full circle, dude.
Yeah, right back to their roots, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a real issue. Well, who's going to pick our fruit? I don't know. How about you pay someone a real wage instead of paying some undocumented migrant less than minimum wage and then demand? Oh my God. And the best part is they're saying again, same thing they said back with slavery in the United States. They're better off here doing this than they are back in their home country. What the fuck? How is this not raised red flags for everyone?
Right.
We're not gonna be able to wipe our own asses. How broken is this person who can't wipe her own ass?
Pretty damn broken.
Yeah. And you got the rich people like Sharon Osbourne. Was it Sharon or her daughter that said, "Who's
The
going to clean your
daughter,
toilet?"
the daughter.
The daughter, Kelly, said,
Mhm.
"Yeah, who's going to clean your toilets?" I'm like, I clean my own toilet. I don't know about you.
Just rich.
And that's exactly the problem, Guapo, is she's fucking rich. She can pay someone at least minimum wage to do it, right? Like you can hire a housekeeping service that's legal citizens.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. You know what's funny? You know what I seen when they hired a maid to come clean your house, and they clean before the maid gets there.
I know.
I
My
was like, what? What the hell is the point of getting a maid if you're gonna clean for the maid? All she's
for
gonna
the
do is
deep
dust up here, dust up there, like
the
a
deep
dog.
clean, because the deep clean, my wife's mother, grandmother used to do that.
Mm-hmm.
She would clean because they were well off.
Mm-hmm.
The wife's grandfather was basically a scam artist
Mm-hmm.
in real estate and selling cars. Go figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she would go around and like clean up the general stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, there's a t-shirt left on the floor, and then that was before the maid came in to like vacuum and everything. And I'm like, you're paying these people to do this. If you're embarrassed of what the maid's gonna find, why are you paying them at all?
Mhm.
I see that happen. Like, what the
My
fuck?
wife used to do that. Like back in the day when we hire a housekeeper to come
Mhm.
in and clean up a little bit, she'd clean before the house person came up.
She didn't want to be embarrassed, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
And
don't
and
give
you're
two
thinking,
shits.
and no, but you're thinking is like, trust
I
me, this
already
person has
paid. I
seen.
already paid her to do this shit.
It's like, why am I paying you anyway then? And trust me, that housekeeper has seen far filthier
Oh yeah,
homes.
hell
Probably,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Just like I don't know, you have to have a technician come into your house to check on whatever, you know what I mean, or fix whatever that you can't do yourself.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'll pick up some stuff just so it's not horrific, but I'm like, this guy has seen way worse shit than this, especially in West Virginia. I know that sounds terrible to say. Drug abuse is rampant around here.
Yeah.
A lot of houses falling apart that people live in. And I'm
Mm.
certain this guy has seen way nastier stuff than what's in my house.
Dude, I had when I was getting my cable installed in here, I was talking to the guy. He was fixing stuff, calling fixing things set up. I go like, "Hey man, what's the worst thing you ever seen?" He told me he's seen like a roll of fucking bills on the coffee table, and he's telling the guy like, "Hey, move that shit out of there because I don't want you to blame it later on that shit's
Yeah.
missing."
Go put that somewhere else so I don't get blamed for stealing it,
Yeah.
right?
And he's like, He telling me I've seen drugs, this nasty houses, like, yeah, I can just imagine.
Here's Michigan in the news.
Yep.
We
Talking about
had
nasty
well, talking about nasty, yeah, because a couple Chinese citizens brought a fungus strain to
Toxic fungus,
Michigan.
not magic mushrooms.
The fun stuff.
Well, this fungus targets wheat, barley, rice, and it says maize. Like, what is maize corn or is it not?
Thought it was corn.
Maize is corn, but just separated from the cob. That's maize.
So, what would if this fungus got released to the world in the United States? What would it do to American crops?
Oh, no more whiskey, no more beer. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no more food. Sorry.
Bread.
Bread.
Well, yeah, and this is just China.
So I'd be out of a job.
They're trying to disrupt the economy in the United States.
Good way to do it.
And at TSA, they were asked about this, like, "Oh, we're going to Michigan to study this fungus, or whatever." And Michigan's like, "We don't know shit about that. Like, we don't know anything about this."
Probably backed up at the last second. What are you talking about? We don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Probably-
hey, it's one thing if you're actually going to study
Probably
it.
was some leftists and you just backed up, so they got caught.
Oh, yeah, it was still going to be an agro terrorism, as they call it, agricultural terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, what? how much would life suck if a loaf of bread cost $12? Because half the
Fuck
wheat
that
in the
shit.
country got destroyed.
Liquid bread would have been gone. Beer.
Yeah, beer.
People would.
Oh my God, what would beer cost?
You angry sober guy. Can I get a beer? Would be fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be vicious. And then, Jesus Christ, you're worried about people, all of these people rioting and looting, just trying to get bread and eggs. Yeah, wait until a loaf of bread costs $12. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, you're stealing because you're poor. You don't steal fucking big screen TVs, okay? Because you're poor. If you're hungry, you steal food, not big screen TVs to sell in the black market on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, another Chinese student or another Chinese national who happens to be a student in the University of Michigan fled the country after getting busted with and charged with voting illegally in Michigan.
Mm.
I thought that wasn't happening.
No, that was
Oh, yeah, it's happening.
Does Michigan require ID to vote?
No.
part of the nation.
I know Massachusetts doesn't.
No, there's Michigan. It's a blue state.
And there you go. And when Trump said, "Hey, maybe we should require ID to vote," they said, "No, you can't do that." Like, well, then how do you know? Well, we know that they're not voting because it's illegal. It's like, well, shit. Then let's just fire all the police because no one's committing any crimes because it's illegal, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, geez, why do we have to ban guns if murder's already illegal? I don't know. That seems like a good enough argument to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, in light of all this shit, Trump has announced a travel ban on 19 different countries.
Yeah.
And what bothers me is China's not on that list.
No, it's mainly African American countries, and Chad has already retaliated against us and said no more tourism in Chad.
Who's
Where the
going to
fuck is
Chad on vacation?
Where the fuck is Chad? Is that a
It's a
guy?
war-torn nation in Africa.
Oh,
Right now, they're in the middle of a war, which, by the way, no American gives a shit about the war in Chad. They care about Israel and Ukraine, not what's happening in Chad or Myanmar. You know, there's more than two wars going on the planet right now, but no one gives a shit about what's going on in these other places. Like, well, I don't know where that is. Bitch, you didn't know where Ukraine was. You still don't know where Ukraine is. You know.
And that's why I had to laugh when I saw that come across my news feed. Is like, nobody's going to Chad before they knew they were banned. The people from Chad were banned to come in here. He's like,
Yeah, exactly. Again, nobody even knows what Chad is, or that it's a fuck. And you know, it's not a little country either.
No, it's huge.
It's enormous. It's like Sudan sized. And you know what?
name
Most
is
people probably couldn't
Chad.
find. Huh?
His name is Shad.
Chad,
Chad,
CADD.
Yeah,
one
like
D.
the opposite of Karen, a Chad.
Oh my god! Like you couldn't come up with a better name than that.
Well, dude, it's not English over there. You know, they didn't hear a dude's name when they said it.
How many American celebrities are leaving the United States to go to Britain?
I know of.
I know people that went to Ireland.
Well, that's Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Sarah Jessica Parker and her husband Matthew Broderick went to Britain. I don't know who else has, but it's funny because Britain was like, "Hey, by the way, you can't just move in here. That's illegal immigration."
Most countries are like that.
All of them, except for us, apparently. But yeah, they're shocked that they're gonna get kicked out of this country and deported if they don't leave on their own. I'm like, dude, you broke into their country and just set up shop. Oh, isn't this where Ellen and her wife went?
Yeah, I think they're back in the state.
I think, well, maybe they might have been kicked out of the country because they don't have any authority or right to be there.
Yeah, I just
Should have went to Ireland.
Well,
Ireland
That's
don't
what
care.
O'Donnell's
it's not necessarily that Ireland doesn't care, which they're not great about deportation. But Rosie does have lineage, which means she could get citizenship.
Dude, they don't fucking consider everybody here Irish if you got Irish background.
Well,
I got Irish background.
No,
So
the
do I,
Irish,
but not
the
much.
Irish people, they don't consider you Irish at all. You're just an American.
Oh, you're an American.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
going
just-
to Ireland to eat haggis.
Oh
Haggis.
God, that's Scotland.
I
I ate it
I was wondering if
twice.
anybody would notice.
Oh man, I got haggis in Scotland. I was like, that was the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten in my life.
Nobody
Like,
but tourists eat it.
yes, I found that out because I was like, there's no way that's what it really tastes like. And I tried it again,
Mm.
and I was like, nope,
You were
it's
dumb enough to
garbage.
try it twice.
What was it, pig intestine in a sheep's stomach or
It's
something like
like
I thought it
It's
was
like-
brains.
it's like I don't know if I'm gay, but let me try dick again just to make sure I'm not gay.
that? I didn't like it, but let's make sure. Let's try the other orifice this time, right? Oh man.
Oh.
But yeah, these celebrities are shocked that they're not allowed you to stay in these foreign nations. I think it's hilarious, and we brought this up a while ago with that American who wanted to go back to her ancestral homelands in Africa, and she's like, "There's no electricity, there's no running water."
She said she's coming back to
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, and then
There's
she's
no
like, "And
snacks.
you know what? And they don't see me as their kin. They say I'm just an American." I'm
Yeah,
like, "This is you
the
don't speak
rich
their
American,
language."
so they want more money from her. They want more handouts.
Yeah. Yeah, like, well, she's got tons of money. She's an American. It's like, it's bullshit. I'm like, yeah, geez, now you know how nice you had it here in the States, huh? All that garbage you were talking, you know? Freaking drinking water from a stream, then when you're watching someone 20 feet upstream take a shit in the same stream, you know? It's like, this is my drinking water? Oh, all right. Fetterman, man. Looks like Fetterman is starting to be the centrist voice from the Democrat Party lately. He's come up more than once saying the Democrats are out of control, and he's a senator from Pennsylvania. He's saying that the chaos and the violence is unacceptable coming from the Democrat Party concerning the border. He specifically said that the border is a real issue. We have to do something about this. He said that every year the population of Pittsburgh is coming into the United States under Biden, and that's just unacceptable. But you know, I got a feeling there's no way Fetterman's going to get reelected if he's going to keep trying to be the voice of reason in the Democrat Party. Look, just like what's happening.
I don't
with
know.
Newsom,
He's
you
in
know?
Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania almost voted for freaking
It's a swing state.
Oz. So,
Well, it was either him or Oz. Dr. Oz, by the
so
way.
he may get a primary. If he wins his primary, I think he's got a good chance of winning. You know, and he
Yeah, but all
may
you
go
need-
independent, and he still has a good chance of winning independent in Pennsylvania.
Oh, speaking of independent, buddy,
Oh boy.
Karine Jean-Pierre is no longer a Democrat.
Yep.
Do you
Oh
believe-
damn! I did
Okay,
that.
let me
I
ask you
swerved
this.
right on in.
He did. Well, we skipped a couple to get to it, but it is in the next topic that we're going right into.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you believe her? I mean, I didn't believe her when she was saying anything in the White House. You gonna believe her now?
Well, here's the best part is she's saying stuff. She came out and said stuff like, "Oh yeah, we were all being lied to by the White House." And this. I was like, "Bitch, you were the press
the-
secretary.
Yeah, you're the
You
one
one
lied
were
to
the
us.
White House.
And it's funny because the wife said something like, "Well, she worked for Biden. She could have been lied to." It's like she was also one of his top advisors.
Yeah.
So I mean, she was the one orchestrating the lies that we got. Just like Jake Tapper's like, "How did we miss all this? The media and the White House lied to us." Like, dude, you are the media that lied to us.
Right.
And they both wrote books about it.
They're just drifters.
Well, Jake Tapper's name's on that book. I don't think he actually wrote shit in it.
No, he probably didn't write it, but he had to. I bet he was involved somehow.
Well, they wanted his name on the book, so they sell more books. There's another guy. He's a co-author on the book. The other
Yes,
guy
there's other
wrote
guys.
99.9% of the book.
Well, I'm sure the other guy wrote the whole book, and Jake Tapper just gave his perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever.
But here's the best part: is an ex-Biden official came out and said that Karine Jean-Pierre is kind of dumb and gave random, incoherent answers on policy.
I can see that.
This was the person Joe Biden, President Biden, chose to speak for him. And
we had multiple shows about her, probably multiple titles of shows about her. She was not a good press secretary
Oh, they
No, I
wanted
like
to kick
Jen
her
Psaki
out.
by any
better.
standard.
They wanted to kick her out, but they couldn't do it because they didn't want.
Why?
because she was
The bad
black and
rap.
lesbian.
Yeah.
They hired her
Because she was the DEI hire.
she's black
Yeah.
and lesbian. That's why.
Even the
You
fucking
know what?
View don't want her, dude. That's how bad she is.
I mean, Jen Psaki, more than once when she was still doing her job, I said, I kind of feel bad for this poor woman. It's almost impossible to defend this guy,
Right.
you know? And let's be real, she was nicer to look at than KJP. Not that Pierre is an unattractive woman, but at least
Uh,
when Jen Psaki was younger, she was pretty attractive. And
I
I'm
still do
quoting
her.
I'm quoting a woman that I saw on podcast that, man, she's got some giant cans.
Does she?
Oh yeah. Oh my
She needs to
gosh. Turn
sport
on
them out, dude.
MSNBC.
She needs to sport
Yeah.
them out.
Didn't she just beat cancer or something happened to one of her kids or something?
I don't know. I didn't follow
Yeah.
that deep.
Yeah,
See,
she's
she
on
got giant
MSNBC.
cans. Probably would have followed her. She showed them off.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
yeah, she's on MSNBC now. She's doing the show 4 nights a week that Rachel Maddow does 1 night a week.
Yeah.
And now that KJP has come out and basically renounced the Democrat Party, there's no way she's going to get a job in the news doing the same thing. There's just no way. They're all talking trash on her already.
Mm.
All right, let's get back to the pardons, Brian. We knew something was going to happen sooner or later. What's going on?
Well, the DOJ has started reviewing all the pardons that Trump did, and they're concerned about the state of mind he
Biden.
did with Biden's pardons when he did the state of mind.
Yes, because especially with the information that came out concerning his cancer, then it
Because
was
they're
almost
thinking they're thinking most of the pardons were done with auto pen, and who was running the auto pen?
well. Here's the thing: is all of his pardons except for one, 1,500 people, and only one pardon that was signed was actually signed by Joe Biden's hand. Can you guess which one?
No, but I know it was
The son.
His own family and Fauci were on the same pardon.
Goddamn.
That was the only one he actually physically signed.
Mm.
What the hell? And in case some whistleblower in the White House came out and told a senator, speaking of Joe's mental decline, that it was so bad that he got lost in a White House
I
closet.
saw that. I posted this article. Got lost in his own closet.
Now,
I wish I had that big of a closet in my house.
yeah, I was going to say, I am sure it's a luxurious closet for certain. But you put your hand on the wall and just keep walking, you'll eventually get back to the door you came in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look. You know how you know you're poor? When you sit in the toilet, you can reach the door of your toilet, the toilet, you're poor. I mean,
The door for
Right.
the bathroom?
yeah, the door to the bathroom. Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, this is probably a giant walk-in closet with like
Oh,
all
huge.
sorts of crazy stuff. But
Mhm.
I mean, again, just put your hand on the wall and just keep walking
The
the same
circles.
direction. You'll eventually come back all the way around to where you came in, right?
Was the lights off? I don't know.
Who knows?
Even so, you could do that in the
Doesn't
dark.
matter.
That doesn't change the layout of the room.
Uh,
You don't fall into some infinite paradox when the lights shut off. All right. Brian, want to move us on in? Well, they said that, okay, that's why the Korean Jean-Pierre thing was supposed to be the bottom because they called her dumb and everything else. So
Yeah.
let's move into education, Brian. What's going on there?
The court blocks the Trump administration attempt to dismantle the education department.
mm.
How?
Well,
Does it takes Congress, maybe?
yes, that's where it's going because Congress set it up, so it's going to take Congress to get rid of it. But Trump can gut it, which he's in the process of doing, but he can't
Yeah.
like just totally eliminate it without
Yeah.
Congress's approval.
You say you can gut it, but the problem is that judges are stepping up and stopping that too. There should be no DOE. I don't understand where the federal government gets the authority to do this.
They made it up.
Yeah, like the Constitution clearly outlines the authority of the government, and nowhere does it say they can have all of these different departments. It seems crazy to me that the average person doesn't understand this. And like I said, I put it out on Facebook once that I know I'm an old man using Facebook, right? Said something like everyone who keeps trying to cite the Constitution should probably actually read it And this jackass Sean comes back and goes, I suggest you do the same, considering the job you used to have. I'm like, motherfucker, where does it say you're allowed to make a Department of Education?
Nowhere.
You know, nowhere. And that's the same reason why I keep saying we shouldn't have the Air Force or the Space Force. We should roll the Air Force back into the Army, because the Constitution says the United States shall maintain a Navy and may maintain an Army. And that's, believe it or not, that's actually the reason why the Marine Corps is still in the Navy. It says Department of Navy right in their ID. And you know what? Any Marines listening to this because they're in Brian's VFW, I know the joke. Yes, the men's department. Okay. It's a good one, all right. But put the crayon down, and listen for a couple minutes here. That's why you're still in the Navy. And the Air Force should still be in the Army. And you know what? You could even roll the Space Force right into the Air Force as part of the Army.
Yep.
But hey, what do I know? I only read the damn Constitution a couple times. Couple dozen times, versus just assuming that what someone else said is the truth. And heads up,
Well,
everyone
people
out there.
thought Trump was a joke for creating Space Force, but Biden kept it in place.
Yeah, what is the Space Force really doing? Like satellites? Is that really what they're doing? Like recon?
Yeah, they're doing satellite recon and anything space related with the military.
So does that mean the Navy doesn't have their own satellites anymore, or do they?
I'm sure they still have satellites, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, I know.
Let me look it up. Let me look it up while we move on to the next topic.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying I know that the Space Force is not deploying weapons from space because Reagan signed some Star Wars shit saying we would never do that, right?
What does Space Force do?
Yeah, just like you know what I'd love to see, which again Reagan said never, is rods from God.
It's the nation's armed forces that conducts military operations, outer space, and Space Force. Oh my word! Thank you, Wikipedia, for being the most unreliable source ever.
Yeah, so do they run around with fucking lightsabers? What the hell is going?
It was redundant.
Yeah, Space Force does the things the Space Force does. You're not allowed to use the term in its own definition, okay?
The Jedi Space Force does what the Space Force does.
Oh yeah, like a woman is anyone who identifies as a woman. You're not allowed to use the word woman defining woman. Why not? Okay, then what is that? Well, it's this. Okay, but yeah, the word you use to define it, what does that mean? Circular logic. Well, like I said, I'd love to see some rods from God. You guys, either one of you ever heard of it?
Yeah. They call it God's footsteps.
Yeah, well, for anyone who's never heard of it, the idea is you drop like a 10-foot long by like foot across tube. I'm sorry.
All right, here's what AI says about Space Force.
Oh, this will be good.
It's the sixth branch of the U.S. Armed Forces. And its focuses on military operations in space. Its mission is to secure U.S. interests in space, including defending satellites and space-based communications.
Okay, so comms and recon. Okay, that's what I kind of guessed. But back to the rods of God for one moment before we move on. It's like the idea is like a 10-foot long, 1 foot across, round bar of tungsten you drop from a satellite. And its sheer mass traveling at terminal velocity will wipe out an entire city when it hits the ground. Mythbusters tried to do this once. Not Mythbusters. Veritasium. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I've heard of Mythbusters, but not Veritasium.
Yeah. Veritasium it's an online thing from PBS.
Like Sesame Street.
No, they do a show called Space Time. It's fascinating and so informative. They tried to like recreate this, but they were using a fucking helicopter like 200 feet off the ground. Like, oh, it's not accurate. It's like, yeah, you have all the downforce from the helicopter. You're not dropping it from orbit. You know what I mean? And plus, you don't have the computers that the United States military does. All right. Back on to education. Like you said, Trump's trying to gut education in terms of funding from the federal government. Because why is the federal government get involved instead of letting the states handle their own shit?
Yeah. But then there's Harvard, who he's got a war against right now.
You know, they came out and ran their mouth again about these draconian government measures that Trump's doing.
Oh, who did?
The commencement speaker.
Who was that?
That's an excellent question. The Ivy League University,
They hired
Stanford professor Abraham Verghese.
so
It's a
so
cascade
so
of
Harvard for their commencement speaker hired somebody from Stanford on the West Coast.
isn't Stanford in New York?
No,
No, it's like
Stanford's on the West
California.
Coast, California.
Yeah.
I've been
Maybe
there.
am I thinking Yale then? Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
in Harbor.
So they
Okay.
basically
So
went to another Ivy League school to get this guy to ramble on about shit they already believed in against Trump. Duh.
yeah, that's a good point. They brought in someone from another school. That's just saying that this school is better than us because our guy isn't good enough, right?
Pretty much.
But yeah, they said Trump's administration is a cascade of draconian government measures, and I understand a lot of people don't like what he's doing. I totally get that. I didn't like a lot of what Biden did, but I didn't use nearly the verbiage these guys are using.
No.
I said things like "this is stupid" or "this is a mistake."
Right.
I didn't call him a fascist. I got a feeling these assholes don't know what fascist means,
Of
and
course
these
not.
are Ivy League professors. But yeah, they're talking about the terminating the student visa program to Harvard because Harvard won't. Okay, because Harvard won't do what the government says in terms of like their education and yada yada yada. Here's the thing: is you don't get government funding unless you follow the rules that the government puts in place.
Right.
Believe it or not, that is why drinking age is 21 and smoking age is 21 in the entire country. It's because the federal government said we're going to stop giving you money unless you do this. Because believe it or not, there's no there's no actual minimum age to drink in this country.
I know.
No.
Each state gets to set their own, and the federal government said, "Hey, let's make it this."
Same
So
with
this is the
same with the seatbelts.
yeah, with all of this stuff, and the federal government is
Well-
basically bribing these states to do what the federal government wants because the federal government does not have the authority to do it.
Yeah, but Harvard, they're coming, they're saying, Trump's saying use your endowment. Harvard's saying they're going to use their endowment. But the real trick to this thing is how many international students come in and pay full price? That's where Harvard gets all their money from, besides government grants.
I don't know,
By the
man.
amount of students that come in and are paying the full ride. No
No,
scholarships involved.
No, because I got a feeling they're getting a big scholarship, or else we wouldn't be shipping them in from overseas. And Harvard gets most of their money from people that have already graduated. Most of it's endowments from alum.
Yeah, well, these alumni, it's going to stop now because Harvard's big. How many? I mean, I'm sure a lot of alums hate the Republicans, but there's going to be some that like Republicans, and they're going to
We've already
stop
talked
giving
about this.
money.
Yeah, we've already talked about this. A whole bunch of them said we're going to cut you off because, like, especially over the Israel thing. A whole bunch of these very okay. Let me go full conspiracy theorist from the
Oh, here
left,
you
though. No, from the left of the aisle. They
Okay.
think that Jews run the fucking world.
Yeah.
Just like Kanye West did until recently. So, okay, so the rich and powerful people that are giving all the money to Harvard are Jewish. As you're supporting the destruction of Israel, they're going to stop giving you money.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they're actually all Jewish, which I don't honestly believe,
I don't
but
either.
that's the argument we're hearing from the left is that the Jews run the world. Israel runs the world. Like, how is Israel making decisions? Like, do you know how much commerce we do with Israel?
Not that much.
Yeah, barely more than Australia. Actually, let me rephrase that. We get almost nothing from Israel. Can you name of anything we get from Israel besides intelligence?
Oh, some weapons, I guess. I don't know.
No.
Really? Where's our Iron Dome?
But they're building it.
No, we're building a golden dome
That's
because Israel
based
wouldn't
on
share.
Iron Dome's technology.
Israel wouldn't share theirs. We had to make our own.
Okay.
And actually, speaking of, Trump offered Canada full
Oh, yeah.
protection under the Golden Dome.
If they become a
And
state.
they asked him, "Well, what's the cost?" Like, become a state. And they're like, "No." He's like, "Okay, that sucks for you guys." Which, I mean, we're going to defend Canada no matter what.
No.
No, but if someone conquers Canada, they can come right across the border into the United States.
Not with our Iron Dome. We're not going to build.
Not with our Golden Dome.
Diamond.
Trump Trump likes gold, which, by the way, gold is soft and it melts really low temperature, so that's a mistake. But I get it. All right, Brian, take us into the next one. Maybe even finish out the topic while I go relieve myself.
All right. So this judge has halted Trump's proclamation to suspend new international student visas for Harvard after the Harvard complained.
Okay.
What do you think?
There's nothing you can do about it. The Department of what is it? Interior Department doesn't control the visa. No matter what. Yeah, they cannot do nothing. Like, they're just gonna repeal it, dude. They're just the executive office, the one that to tell who's coming in or out of the state. I mean,
Well, I mean, depends on where they filed suit, which more likely,
it's gonna get repealed. I mean, gonna get
yeah, it's going to
repealed.
get appealed and blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah.
so
But
I don't
you
see
know,
nothing. I'm like, they just try to stop
but the U.S.
everything.
government's taking a different tack with Colombia when
Mhm.
they're saying that it's failed to meet accreditation standards. So
Mm,
here they're going to go at the U.S. government's going after Colombia's accreditation standards. If you're not accredited, you might as well not be a university or a college
yeah,
because that just means your credits don't transfer. And if somebody pays money to come there to go to school, then they're going to have to pay again when they go to the next school to continue on their education.
yeah. Well, they did this to themselves, though. So fuck it. You know.
Oh,
And
you guys already talked about Colombia losing their accreditation.
Yeah.
the government's requesting that the accreditation be gone. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not following the rules that the federal government has put in. That
That's
uh,
probably what they should have went after Harvard for too.
well, how pissed would you be if you spent the kind of money you need to go to Columbia University and then there's no accreditation?
Oh, super pissed because that means all the things you paid for at Columbia you got to do over again at another university.
Yeah, your expensive diploma's worthless now. All right. Well, back to Michigan University. Was it Mizzou? That's what they call it. Uh, Protesters that are supporting Palestine destroyed this peony garden. It's a flower garden.
Hmm.
Well, it's absolutely enormous. It's there we go. It's the W.E. Upjohn Peony Garden. It's it's like a famous. There you go. Of course, it's not telling me now, but oh, you go. About 250 plants were decapitated with thousands of buds and blooms hacked off at the stem and strewn about in the dirt. And they littered everywhere with flyers that said things like "Where what is it? Kafefi? What kafia?" So yeah, Michigan wants it. What's going on in Michigan, man?
With
No, for
what?
real. Michigan keeps showing up in the news with crazy shit. You got illegal people, illegal migrants voting. You got people smuggling in friggin' apocalyptic fungi that will
Mm.
Yep.
destroy our food. And you also have these asshole protesters destroying, I think it said it was the world's largest peony garden at the university. And by the way, I mentioned it, Brian, is the University of Michigan, is that Mizzou? The nickname
University
everybody.
of Michigan is Ann Arbor.
Well, yeah, but don't they
There's
call it Mizzou, like Missouri University?
no.
I
University of
could,
Michigan is University of Michigan, the
yes, thought it was
Wolverines.
like I thought it was like a nickname that people use. Is
No,
my
no.
point. But
U of M is University of Michigan.
all right, I could have sworn that's one they called Mizzou. Maybe it's a different school, but I know it's a school. That's for sure. It's got a big golden M as their logo. But, all right, did we mention Greta
No.
sailing over? Not even last week.
Sail away, sail away, sail away.
Come sail away, come sail away.
I
With
know, they're like,
me.
damn,
Well,
she's living a life,
she
dude.
doesn't believe in like power boats because it's gonna ruin the environment. So
Yeah, meanwhile, she's in a fucking boat
Sailboat.
made of fucking oil, right?
yep,
And
fiberglass.
and you know she's not sailing alone. There's a fucking fleet of ships making sure she's okay, just like when she came across the Atlantic. But now she's trying to sail into Gaza on a
Good luck with that.
humanitarian mission. She's bringing milk and butter. So how are you keeping the milk and butter from spoiling on like the week and a half long journey
Right.
across the Red Sea? Or
It's
yeah,
all a publicity stunt to try to keep her name like in the forefront as like the environmentalist
this has nothing to do with
spokesperson.
environmentalism. She doesn't just shit about the environment. She gives more crap about a war in a country that she didn't know existed until this happened.
Till she was 16.
Well,
Yeah,
she's
she was.
legal now.
Legally retarded.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let me quote Tropic Thunder, okay? Never go full retard.
She living
Yeah,
the best
she's-
life, dude. She's selling away. God, that's my fucking life right there.
Can Greta swim?
Who knows?
No
I mean,
idea.
I guess she skipped the class, but we're gonna find out.
Well, Israel has a blockade. You can't bring goods in or out. So, like, what? But she's gonna just sail right there. And Israel already came. I was like, no. She's not docking. It's not gonna happen.
Right.
And they have no
Well,
weapons.
the problem they've already tried. Other organizations have tried to bring supplies in for the Gaza people, but it never gets to the Gaza people.
Yeah, right. Actually, it gets taken by Hamas and split amongst their people, and it's happened more than once.
Yeah.
Shit, there was just an airdrop for the people there, and Hamas literally opened fire on the people running up to get help. Like, Jesus Christ, Greta, they're gonna kill you and steal your boat and sell it to fund their shit. But again, she has no idea what's going on. She doesn't give a shit. She's the one who said, we have to stop fossil fuels, not next year, not tomorrow, today, now. I tell you, worldwide, 100 million people would die within a week. 10 million people would die overnight if you just cut off fossil fuels.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize all the shit that fossil fuel is into,
Oh, like life support?
like plastics.
The refrigerator that keeps your insulin safe?
Yep.
How many diabetics are on the planet that need their insulin to survive? And you can say, shut it off. Great. Yo, use something else. Yeah, great. Why don't you set up something else first, bitch?
Yeah.
Like, you think, oh my God, you trap your farts and smell them because you think you're so much better than everyone else because you have an electric car. But then you plug it into your house that's powered by a coal power plant.
Oh yeah.
And not to mention, you have to strip mine a country to get the minerals. Oh, by the way, speaking of, did you hear we just found a giant, the world's largest lithium deposit in the United States?
In
No.
Oklahoma, yeah, we talked about it a while ago.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't remember talking about it, but it's
I did hear recently that Microsoft
talked
and Google have both have signed up with nuclear power companies to provide power for their data
We should go nuclear.
databases.
We should go nuclear. It's the cleanest
Data
energy there is.
centers. Yeah. We're pro nuclear power on this show because we've all 2 out of 3 of us have been on nuclear powered ships and realize it's not nearly as dangerous as 3 Mile Island was brought up to be.
Or Chernobyl.
And that even wasn't that bad in the end.
Well, Chernobyl was. Do you know what actually happened in Chernobyl? One of the
They
guys
didn't have a good enough cover over the nuclear reactors. It was substandard.
That's what led to the issue. But one of the guys in charge of like the whole program in the Soviet Union came in and an alarm was going off, and he said, "Shut that alarm off."
He ignored it.
And he said, "Shut," and they shut it off and didn't fix it.
Right.
That's what happened. And Fukushima, dude, there was an earthquake and a tsunami. They put this they put this power plant in the wrong place.
Right. We talked about that on the show.
Yes. Well, geez, when it happened, dude, we've been doing this forever, huh?
Yep.
I mean, well, France for the longest time was 100% nuclear. They're still mostly nuclear. That's why
Germany
when,
had a lot of nuclear plants. They shut them all down.
yeah, dude, it's clean and it's safe. Like, I'm gonna be a little pushback. Being the guy working next to the radiation isn't always necessarily the safest thing because I'm sure you've
Right.
heard the stories, right? Everyone who comes back from a deployment on a nuclear ship does not have a son when they come back from deployment right away, right?
Well, that's why you're having daughters now.
I got two daughters. And it's also known, doses are known to cause epilepsy.
Mm.
I got the epilepsy too. But I also took an unusually large dose because of a repair I had to do.
Right.
Uh,
Which
you know,
the VA says did not happen.
yeah, oh, you might have been born with that. Yeah, I might not have. Meanwhile, the wife who just had a kidney taken out for cancer, VA is covering 100% because check this out. She had her surgery done before the report came out, but then the report came out saying everyone who served over in the Afghanistan during this time
They're
in
in the
this
burn
area,
pile.
the burn pile, all the garbage you were breathing in, and they said specifically caused urinary tract cancer. And I was like, well, there you go, kidney is because they asked us like, why do you think the military's response was? She goes,
I don't
it
know.
only
Don't
it only
care.
makes sense. And then the report came out like 3 days later. She's like, well, there you go.
So
And
she's
yeah,
100% now.
she's not 100%, but because they got the cancer out. But they covered all of the costs and check this
Okay.
out, even paid gas mileage and like 50 cents a mile it took her to drive to the hospital for the surgery.
I still have my claim for that. I
I
still put
told
in.
her the thing is the nearest VA hospital is 2 hours away.
It don't
That's the
matter.
only
You can put in your VA claim and use that on the claim and see what
true,
happens.
true,
So
true.
you don't have
I
to go
want
to
to
the
go
VA
to
hospital for that.
I want to go to the VA hospital to get reevaluated for what I've already spoken to a VA doctor for, but the doctors here might be more receptive
Yeah.
where I was. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's dude, I'm getting $540 a month from disability, right?
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is. Because
You
I
should be
still have
getting
short.
$2,000 a month from disability.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they cut a piece of my brain out of my head. The
Yep.
realist, what I'm getting disability for is the tinnitus I have and a painful
The
scar.
VA says I don't have that.
Well, it took you too long to request it, dude, honestly.
I've just appealed it to 3 Pledge channel. So
Yeah. But yeah, and they said a painful scar. I'm like, this painful scar is because you cut a hunk of my brain out of my left temporal lobe,
right.
which different story. I'm going to go off on a tangent for a moment here.
Mhm.
T and I were in Hampton. We rode our bikes out to the Cinema Cafe,
Oh
right?
yeah, that place isn't here no more.
It was a good time though, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
But we got a bottle of wine and watched a movie. We rode our bikes back home. I got hit by a fucking car.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, went to the hospital. Like I wasn't hurt that bad, but I was bleeding pretty good. I needed stitches. The nurse was like, "Oh man, you're just drunk." And I was like, "No, man." And I apparently I said, "It's like I'm dealing with all sorts of shit right now. I had a left temporal craniotomy due to a cavernous malformation angioma." And this dude looks at me. He's like, "Well, that was pretty coherent for a completely drunk." Uh, anyway, like 2 weeks later, I went and spoke to another doctor. I was like, I'm pretty sure I had a concussion, but the guy didn't give a shit to check me. And the doctor's like, oh my God, you're still concussed.
Damn.
So that lets you know how much they give a shit about you in hospital sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
They'll just dismiss you out of hand because you had some wine an hour and a half ago watching a movie, you know? But yeah, man, I love sitting down having some wine and like a steak while watching a brand new movie.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a movie theater in like 8 years, maybe.
Damn. I want to go see the new movie. The Accountant too.
No, I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna buy it at home, but I'm gonna watch the new Superman movie, even though I haven't enjoyed the DC movies lately.
Mm.
Nathan Fillion is playing Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner is the guy who becomes the Green Lantern.
Mm.
So I like Nathan Fillion, but anyway,
Mhm.
anyway, Did you guys hear about this attack Ukraine did on Russia's warplanes?
Yes.
And these are the warplanes that they have that are capable of deploying nuclear gravity bomb deep within Russia, not on the border. I'm going to say first, this was a brilliant attack. It took them 18 months to set up.
It's
They
almost
basically,
like the pager bombs that Israel set
yes,
off.
yes, good point. Excellent comparison. They smuggled in these tractor trailer trucks, thousands of them, I think, all over the country. No, actually, I say all in 3 separate locations in terms of like generally where they were. Then all at the same time, the backs of these trucks opened up and drones took off. I was like, this is a brilliant tactical attack.
Yeah.
But the problem is it was horrible strategic. Okay. If you guys had the capability to attack this deep inside of Russia and wipe out, or not wipe out, they claim to have destroyed 40 Russian aircraft. Why didn't you give a shit about the land that's being occupied by Russia instead?
Yeah.
Like, this is insurgency at this point. Like, we can't get them out, so we're just going to keep blowing everything up to discourage, to dishearten the people so they don't want to fight anymore. Why don't you worry about the occupation that you're claiming is the real issue? And then they went and blew up the bridge that connects Ukraine to Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea in terms of keeping supplies out. Except now Russia has no way to get to their own Navy base except through the land strip that they've already seized and are occupying. They have no option besides the land they've already taken.
So they got to keep defending it.
Yeah, and by the way, they did this behind Trump's back. They didn't tell Trump about this attack that they were planning for 18 months. What the hell, dude? And I know we've mentioned on this show, Germany has an outstanding warrant for a Ukrainian citizen. Check this out. The guy's name is Vladimir V. Who else in Ukraine is named Vladimir, whose last name starts, or never mind, he starts with a Z, not a V. I was thinking it was Zelensky. But they have a warrant over this guy for blowing up the pipeline. So,
Right.
well, if Ukraine went and blew up the pipeline that feeds Germany, a NATO ally, then didn't Ukraine attack NATO?
Yep.
According to Article 14?
Uh-huh.
This is a real problem that no one's looking at. Ukraine is doing whatever they can to stay in this fight. Every time Trump gets Putin to say, I'll come to the table, Ukraine does some bullshit like this to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yep. Totally.
What the fuck, man? Like, are they? And you know what? Is this that Ukraine wants to bring on World War III, or is Zelensky terrified to get out of office because they can't kick him out in war? So, and he knows he'll be executed as soon as he's not in office. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
There's no way they're taking back the land Russia already took. They're just not. They don't have the capability, the training, or the resources. And especially if the United States pulls the plug and says, we're not giving you any more money or weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead, France. Go ahead, Spain. Keep paying for this war and see how much money you dump into a giant fucking fire pit,
Right.
And again, it comes down to it's not our fucking fight, dude. Ukraine's not an ally of the United States. I don't care what anyone says. There's
Right.
nothing's ever been signed.
Huh.
And one more thing I'd like to bring up before we kick this thing in the fucking balls, because I'm done with it. Is Russia the biggest threat to the United States?
Mm.
Because
I don't think so anymore.
Mitt Romney said it was, and Barack Obama said, quote, the 1990s called, they want their foreign policy back. When Trump was running, Obama was running for office. Did everyone forget that one?
No, I remember it.
Yeah. And you know what? Again, it's the whole memory of a goldfish.
Hmm.
Did you hear? Okay, did I share this one? I think I did.
What's that?
Pakistani schoolboy that's 10 years old in sixth
Yeah.
grade. He was beaten to death by the headmaster of the school during an assembly in front of the entire school
God
with
damn.
a rod over a quote minor offense.
The fuck was the minor offense?
It doesn't say. But
Because
honestly, in Pakistan, it could have been anything as
Yeah.
minor as I
Pakistan
don't.
does all kinds of shit. You know, they're like capital punishment state, basically.
Well,
being to death, or like what the fuck is the offense, dude? Like,
well, can you imagine being the parents, knowing the kind of shit that has happened in Pakistan?
And they chose to
Right.
say,
mm,
Well, I'm saying that the parents might kill this guy before the.
the
God knows if there'd
captivity.
even be a trial, right?
yeah.
Yeah, beat a 6-year-old, 10-year-old to death,
The
dude. If that was my kid, uh, well, in the United States, I'm gonna call the authorities and try to let them handle it, right?
Right.
I don't know if I trust the Pakistani authorities.
No.
Not even talking trash about Pakistan, but they're kind of known for all sorts of violence and blowing up buses and such.
probably you can
Not
get away with it. Like, hey, the kid. Like, oh yeah, we understand.
all right. Before we move on to our California topic, have you got mentioned to you guys that we got the snack box, right? Right?
Yeah.
I did. I think. Oh, I thought I mentioned it. We get a box of snacks from a different country every month.
Yeah.
This past one that we just got is from Pakistan.
Oh shit.
Well, we got pack of cola.
Coca
This
Cola.
is a pack of cola,
Oh.
and there's a beverage in each month's box.
Mhm.
It was, dude. It was this really good cream soda. I was like, yeah, that's actually pretty damn good, But yeah, you should check out these snack boxes, dude. There's different things you can do, and there's different companies that do them. But
Mhm.
you get to taste all sorts of neat stuff like you're traveling again. But tell you, they got some spicy chitlins over in Pakistan, and I like spicy food. Well, California. Looks
Back
like
to Cal.
Gavin. Oh, yeah, going back to Kelly.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom is suggesting doing some kind of like test to set up a Medi-Cal.
Hmm.
Dude, California has to stop taking on more and more projects. They still haven't. How long have they been working on this high-speed rail?
It's done. The
It's
federal
done, they
government,
said?
the Trump administration is pulling the plug on it. They're not going to
Oh,
provide any more federal funds to this high-speed rail. That's never going to be a high-speed rail. Now they're saying it's only going to like 100, maybe 150 miles. There's
yeah,
no
yeah.
actual tracks laid yet. I was living in California in the 80s, 90s when they introduced this shit. And here it is 50 years later almost.
And they
And
say it's gonna be another 20, but like you said, they haven't even laid track yet.
yeah. So as long as there's a Republican in office, this thing ain't ever going to happen because the
Well, why
state
isn't
can't
California
afford
funded?
it. The state can't afford it, and the federal government sees no purpose in it. So
No, I see a purpose for a high-speed rail. I really do. But the problem is, it
where
took
did all the money
Boston.
go? Billions of
Exactly.
dollars have been spent on this project
It
already.
took Boston less time to build the T, which is underground under Boston, right?
And that was a boondoggle at the time.
Yeah, every time they dug a hole, they found a created T or an arrowhead and had to stop and freaking excavate with archaeologists.
And that cost more money.
Oh, it did. Oh, the big dig was just as big a problem for the same reason when they put the highway underground. But Boston paid for or Massachusetts paid for that.
No, California wants everybody to pay for it except for them.
I will say though, the big dig project in Boston, when it was all said and done, finally, like 10 years ago, it worked excellently.
Uh-huh.
You could drive through Boston and not have to deal with Boston traffic. I could get to the airport and not have to deal with Boston traffic. It was awesome. But when they were building it, dude, like until I was like 20, I'm gonna say, yeah, 20, until I was like 40, Dude, going anywhere in Boston was the biggest pain in the ass because there was always a detour because they were always digging somewhere, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's not this big a project to make trains. I mean, Jesus Christ. Okay, California.
And most of the places where this train, I don't know if you've been to California before,
I've
but
been
these
to SoCal.
trains were going to go from Los Angeles to San Francisco.
Yeah, I went.
90% of the tracks
It's
were going to be in Central California, where there's not huge population centers that they got to divert around or pay tons of money to get rights to go through.
Yeah, you could just lay track because it's like state national forest.
Yeah, or it's a farm. Or it's a
Yeah.
farm.
Well, you got to figure out how to get through a farm because the
Just
dude
raise
doesn't want
it.
to give up his farm.
Just race it. That's all.
It's just it doesn't cost as much to build a train track. It's not this difficult. And you know what, California, you guys love your immigrants so much. Why don't you get the fucking Chinese to do it again?
And, yeah, they did it once before. They did a great job. It goes
They did
from
a
the
great
East Coast
job.
to the West Coast.
And we're still using it. And you know what? It took them less time in the 1800s. They say in California do it now.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. For the love of God, just start building. But no, exactly. The money's going into some rich asshole's pocket.
Yep.
And it's gone. What are they getting paid for? Is this all consulting fees?
Probably.
Why don't you do what the federal government does and do lowest bidder? Hey, we want to do this. Show
That
us
would-
your
that
plan
would
and tell
make
us
too
what
much
it's going to
sense.
cost.
That's
Yeah,
too much sense.
Show us your plan and what's it going to cost to do it.
Right.
No. Brian, I think you shared this one. I didn't actually read this one. I usually do. Because I knew the general point, but I don't know why. But apparently, California residents are not excited about Kamala coming back to
Oh
politics.
yeah, because there's rumors flying around she's going to run for governor of California, and I mean they got Newsom, who's horrible, and I don't think they feel Kamala's going to be any better. So.
Well, Kamala's bad because Kamala's just bad. Newsom, now they hate him because he's doing his podcasting and talking to Republicans.
Oh no, he's going against the fucking woke. So yeah, that's backfiring. It's not going well as I thought it was gonna go.
Meanwhile, all the money that's in California funding all this shit is moving out because California is just taxing the fuck out of them. Actually, Los Angeles just had a bill blown up because they wanted to charge everyone $100 a year tax for having a driveway or businesses for having a parking lot.
Makes sense to me.
They said having these things gets people to helps people not use public transportation. Like, oh yeah, well that encourages people to drive. Like, what? I can't have a driveway. I can't own a car that I barely use, but I want to be able to drive from like you said, from like Los Angeles to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Fuck, or Sacramento, for the love of God. You know what? No, you're right. Maybe they should just hop on the high-speed train. Oh, fuck, you blew that too.
Well,
Jesus.
I know on the East Coast we have Amtrak that is like they're trying to create a high-speed rail, but it's
They
not
need to.
happen.
I know they need to. When my mother died,
You looked at it.
I went to the airport, right?
Mhm.
Check out this horrible story. Went to the airport. I was told my mother was very, very sick, and I went and visited her. Came back, and like a month and a half later, I got a message. You need to come see mom now. I was like, oh shit, all right. So I booked a flight, went to the airport. I get a message from a buddy of mine who says, I'm so sorry to hear about your mother. And I was like, what do you mean? I thought she was just very sick. And he goes, oh shit.
Oh, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Your fucking parent, your dad didn't tell you before he did? That's bullshit.
They wanted me to be at home, but my sister went and told other people.
No, that's not gonna work.
But turns out my flight got canceled. And I found out at the airport that my mother had died. I flipped out. So I was like, fuck
of course.
it. I was like, fuck it. I went and got me a train ticket. And I like the train, honestly. It's a fun ride, but it
Oh,
was
yeah.
13.
it's nice, but it's too expensive, dude. Like, god
It
damn.
cost as much as a flight, and it took 13 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, it would have been like an hour and a half on a plane, you know?
At least nowadays they got Wi-Fi too, but still.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, okay. I'm fucking watching shows and playing video games when I'm mourning my mother's death alone on a train,
No,
you
no,
know?
but
That's
I'm
not a
saying like
thing.
technology now, and I don't know.
All right. Maxine Waters, Congresswoman, right?
Yep.
Yes.
From
California.
California. From
Yep.
California. She is being fined $68,000 by the FEC investigation for illegal donations to her campaign. $68,000.
Nothing. Drop in a bucket.
Yeah, she accepted more in donations than this. This all I could think of was what was her name from Full House, Becky,
Oh yeah, she got arrested because of
when
the
she
school.
bribed everyone to get her kid into college, and then all she got was a fine, and it was less than the amount of money she had bribed them to get her kid into college.
Yeah.
Oh, it pissed me off. It pissed me off so much, and this does too. She's taking in illegal donations and getting fined nothing. Like, fuck. None of us are exceptionally wealthy.
No, not at all.
In 5 years, we could pay off a $60,000 fine if we actually got hit with a fine, right?
Yep.
It would hurt, but we could do it. Everyone goes, that means you have a ton of money. No, it means that I could fucking tighten my belt a little bit. And Maxine Waters, she's also the one who said, if you see Trump supporters at Trump counter at the gas station, at the gasoline station, at the supermarket, hit in the face and tell them they're not welcome here.
Yep. Very good imitation of her.
I thought that was pretty good, actually.
Yep.
I thought that was a good Maxine Waters. Just like Nancy Pelosi.
Kind of sounded like South Park, but I love
it. Anything here in leftovers you want to talk about? Mark Cuban saying that the tariffs might actually lower prices. Bernie getting upset at wealthy people again, even though he's wealthy.
How about the 200-year-old condom?
Yeah, 200-year-old condom. It was 2,200-year-old statues. Okay, they said this 200-year-old condom is in mint condition in Amsterdam Museum.
Yeah.
What is mint condition?
I don't know.
I know what it means when like coins are minted or cards are pressed. Is this thing used?
I don't know. It seems like it would last longer if it wasn't used.
I pointed out to the wife. I showed it to the wife, and she's like, "They had condoms 200 years ago." I was like, "Yeah,
that's pretty much my theory. That's why I put it in there. It's like fucking craziness."
It was typically speaking sheep intestine, right? They still make natural condoms, which are sheep intestines.
Yeah, they do.
But I mean, hold on. Now think of this for a minute. Intestines is your poop chute going all the way up to your mouth, right?
Yep.
So are you butt fucking a sheep using a sheep's a natural condom?
I guess you could.
Yeah, oh god. Seems kind of gross to me. Epstein's suicide. I brought that up last week, actually, I think. Or maybe even the week before that, when Bongino and Patel came out and said, "Oh no, he definitely committed suicide. He went in by himself, came out by himself. How did he come out by himself if he was dead?"
You want to talk about the Tesla?
Sure. Did you happen to read this article?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a woman caught this kid, and she's like, "Well, you see a typical kid with their big fat black jeans with their hair dyed black and eyes painted black." I was like, so a 1995 goth kid. Yeah, so these kids have no culture of their own. That's why there's no That's why everything's still marketed to millennials, man. Like you go to Hot Topic today, it's still Nightmare Before Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, it's the same shit that kids my age, not kids, but people my age were into when they were kids. But she caught him putting a swastika sticker on her car when she was in a therapy session or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she went out and confronted this kid. And the kid was like, I'm so sorry. I started crying. He's like, well, why'd you vandalize my car? Woman made the kid peel the sticker off, which apparently didn't just come right off. Go figure. Well, people were looking at this woman like, you're an asshole. It's like, no, you vandalized my fucking car. And then they turned out to be friends in the end because it goes into the whole, I didn't realize Elon was going to be a crazy asshole when I bought this Tesla 6 years ago. And this is the same thing we said was all these people that said you have to buy a Tesla to save the environment are now getting their cars lit on fire and vandalized.
Right.
Why would you make friends with these assholes that are vandalizing your car? And this kid has no idea what this kid was doing. This kid just thought it was funny. And this is a real problem I'm having with these idiots that do this shit. They get caught and they start crying. It's like, no. You were certain you were right. Stand by your shit. You don't get to apologize after you damage my property, you know? You have anything to say about this Tesla thing?
I think they need to come out. Elon Musk need to come out with a better fuel efficient engine and sell it with the Tesla side by side.
Well, I remember I sent you the article about the six-cylinder, not six-cylinder,
But that was
six-stroke.
another company. The
Yeah,
six
it was
stroke,
Porsche. It was Porsche.
the 6-stroke engine.
I know you looked at it like, holy shit, this is brilliant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
no, yeah, exactly. Find a way to use less fuel.
yeah, so we don't, you know.
Well, shit, what?
An alternative because he came, when he was doing this rocket thing, he came out with alternative fuel system on the not alternative, but the different type of fuel systems instead of the ordinary one.
I mean, why don't we use hydrogen
Hydro.
or
There was a
propane?
lot of the thing is in order to process like it's a little bit more difficult the propane and everything else, the hydrogen.
Dude, I can make
So
hydrogen in my house.
yeah, well, it was something I forgot what it was. It wasn't, but it's
Probably
the
because it's
same.
insanely explosive.
It doesn't matter fuel too. You know, gas.
Well, I'm just saying hydrogen's more likely to blow up in a
Same
car
thing.
accident than gasoline is.
Well, hydrogen when you mix in the air, it's just H2O.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Is it's easy to make. I can use electrolysis, run
Yeah, but
current through water.
I forgot what it was. It was like something like I can't wouldn't. I saw a video about it. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But I don't know if we come out with a better alternative fuel system than that. Oh man, he would be fucking gold.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, though, right? You put literal pure water in a tank, right? And you use your battery system to separate the hydrogen and the oxygen in the water, the H2O. Uh, and then you mix them back together in the same ratio in your combustion chamber, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you ignite it, your exhaust product is water. You can pump back into your tank and use again. Now, granted, it's not going to last forever because, rule of conservation of energy, it costs more energy to do it than you get out of it. But every now and then you plug it into your wall once a month, once a week, just to recharge a couple little batteries, like the ones you have in your car already. We could be using literal water in theory. You're going to deal with issues with water in your engine getting pumped out, right? You have to find a way to handle that. But the problem is we have such an abundance of petrol products that we're not doing it. Well, I mean, we went from the steam engine to the internal combustion. Let's take the next step. And you know what? Well, I'm cool with solar, honestly, but the issue is, what if it's rainy for a week? You know? I don't know. You got a better idea for a fuel system?
Hydrogen would be good, but just I forgot what was the issue that it couldn't solve. Elon can make this shit happen, dude, and make that fucking gas power instead of fucking I don't know. If we can solve that issue, he'd be golden, dude.
Well, it's funny you say that because you know, your car. I'm assuming your car runs on gasoline, not diesel.
Yeah, they're both of them. Yeah.
Uh, you know, you can actually just rig it up to use propane, and it'll run in the same engine, no problem, and it's cleaner than gasoline.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
but
it's really easy too. But
it
now
would
you
take
have
a
giant propane tanks
Is it
Right,
inside your
yeah.
cheaper?
car.
How long does a propane tank get you in a Jeep?
Honestly, I
Jeep is a
don't know.
horrible fucking fuel consumption, dude.
Propane's more combustible than gasoline, but propane ain't cheap. You know what I mean? Like, what do you
Mhm.
pay for a 5 gallon refill of propane versus gasoline, right?
Right.
So you know, pros and cons of that, and you have to drive around with a propane tank strapped to your vehicle, just like you do in a forklift, you know, and get into a car accident with a propane tank and see how that ends, you know.
All right.
All right.
You think that's it?
Yeah, I guess so. Let's
Uh,
bidet this shit.
what about the Navy
Oh
renaming
shit,
the gay rights ships?
shit.
Oh, Harbor Milk.
The Harvey Milk.
Harbor Milk.
Well, not just that. They want to rename ships that haven't come out yet, like the Ruth Bader Ginsburg and
Yeah.
the Harriet Tubman.
Who wants to be on a ship named after Ruth Bader Ginsburg? I don't
I
care
think
if
they should put
95% of the ship is civilian still.
That good point. The Harvey Milk is a merchant marine vessel. It's civilians,
All
not
these ships are, all these ones they want to rename are merchant marines.
yeah, yeah. And honestly, I
They
really
said the
don't give a
class
fuck.
was going to be named after civil rights people. So
Mm.
What did Ruth Bader Ginsburg do for civil rights?
absolutely not jack shit.
Yeah.
No,
And
for
she
real.
wasn't
Like,
the first. And she wasn't the first Supreme Court justice. It was the other lady. I forgot the name of the
well,
rigger.
I'm going to assume people are going to talk about Roe v. Wade, but the issue was Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the one who wrote the dissent letter in the Roe versus Wade decision. She's like, okay, this is a temporary band-aid. We need to come up with an actual solution because
She
this
never
isn't the
did.
way it's never supposed to. And then she never did till the day she died in office,
Right.
which gave Trump the opportunity to put Kavanaugh in office.
Yeah. Thank you, Ruth.
Kavanaugh ain't been perfect. A lot of Trump's nominees ain't been perfect, but they're still Republicans. So.
Oh, I don't know. You say that. Oh, in terms of the Supreme Court or in
Yeah,
general?
Supreme Court.
What
Only
about it?
Supreme Court.
I'm not.
Amy Coney Barrett,
Amy
Republican or
Coney
not.
Barrett is.
Dude, all right, let's just come out. She's a DI hire, okay? After all the fucking rules
He
she
had
been
to have a
doing.
woman.
Yeah, he did fucking name it himself. Like, I'm gonna put a woman in there. Thanks, DI hire. Instead of saying he's the best, she's the best out of the pool that I got. No, they just want to put another woman. And they fucking backfire him.
Yeah, I'm gonna make up some ridiculous category I'm in. So when I go to get a job, they cannot not hire me, no matter what the job is, because they don't have any people of that group.
Mm.
You know, I'm gonna be a fucking brain surgeon, dude. Just pray to God you don't have surgery from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's it, Brian. What do you think?
All right, I think that's it.
All right,
Bring the
let's pull
bidet.
Yeah. Let's flush this turd and sit on the bidet.
All right. Everybody loves a bidet.
Hey, don't forget the toilet paper soup.